Are we there yet? GPS may be the answer for most travelers, but for Martha Teichner, there's nothing to compare with losing yourself in an old-style map.
A summer vacation drive is the way to have a wonderful time if you don't get tangled up in a web of wrong directions.
Once upon a time, before maps told us how to get from point A to point B, they told us a story.
What we have here is the Christian known world. So at the top we have these two saintly figures in this area represented by the Garden of Eden.
Ian Fowler oversees the collection of nearly 800,000 historic maps at the New York Public Library.
The Pope represented here.
Oh, there he is. But this isn't North and South.
No, the North and South really does not come in for a couple centuries.
Lo and behold.
So here we are in the beginning of the 16th.
As time passes, actual geography begins to show up.
North and South America look kind of peculiar.
They do. So we're still getting information from explorers as they come back.
A lot of it wrong.
We have California depicted as an island.
Oh, look at that.
And look at poor, squished Michigan on this one from 1775. Fast forward to the 20th century, when Michigan got its revenge. The cars it produced revolutionized maps.
You really didn't get road maps until the advent of the car. If people would travel to Chicago, they would pick up one of these guidebooks.
John McAvoy is a vice president of 165-year-old Chicago-based Rand McNally.
The very first automobile map they published was of New York City and the vicinity. And they were also the first ones to start the numbering roads. The system was later adopted as the model to use across the United States.
Rand McNally published its first road atlas in 1924. By 1999, 75 years later, it had reportedly sold 150 million of them. That was just about the time the GPS, the navigational version of the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, hit us.
Turn right.
In the era of GPS, who needs maps?
I think we need maps.
Science journalist Maura O'Connor has written about how we navigate.
We don't need maps for everything anymore, but I think if we give them up completely, we'll lose a way of experiencing the world that can give us great pleasure, great satisfaction, can perhaps exercise our hippocampus.
The hippocampus, that use it or lose it part of the brain that shapes our spatial perception, our imagination, our memory. Not to scare you, but
when we don't use it, it's being shown to result in a decrease in hippocampal volume and potentially has some implications for mental health, neurodegenerative disease, and other age-related memory impairments.
My dad handed me his map, and just the way it smelled and the way the pages felt, you know. You ready to go?
Christopher Smith of Hillsboro, Missouri, is a second-generation trucker and map fan.
And now that I got one, it feels exactly the same. It's really special to me.
And then 67 to 100.
He's trying to pass that love on to his own kids.
That's where we come from.
But nostalgia isn't why he takes the atlas Rand McNally puts out just for truckers when he goes on the road. It's safety.
I use it to double check my route on my GPS because a GPS is still a machine, it's still fallible.
Show and tell on internet trucker forums, catastrophes, captioned by those famous last words, "I was just following the GPS." So, paper maps, not obsolete. Rand McNally maps and atlases are bestsellers still, with more than 400,000 sold so far this year.